The night the humans saved the Queen of Eloria was recorded only in the Queen's private memories and in the silence of a man who vanished without leaving a trace. 5 years passed, and she still remembered the warmth of his hands as he pulled her from the collapsed ridge. She remembered the quiet steadiness in his eyes, the calm that existed even while chaos tore her escort apart. She remembered the single night they shared in the shelter of a broken ship hull, where fear and duty both slipped away. She remembered everything, and she hated how much she did. Her name was Lyra, sovereign of the crystalline worlds of Eloria, raised from childhood to rule with a mind of clarity and a heart sealed from weakness. Yet the memory of that human, the one named Aaron, was a crack in the armor she had built around herself. When she thought of him, she felt again the strange mix of strength and sorrow in his voice. Humans were rare beyond the inner systems, known for resilience and unpredictability. Their tales spread across galaxies, woven into legends of courage and impossible triumphs. But Aaron was no legend 5 years ago. He was a lone wanderer, a quiet traveler who happened to be near the ridge when the Queen's shuttle had been ambushed by rebels. He carried her through the shattered canyon. He protected her when the cold storm swept down. He shared warmth beside the dying fire that flickered from scavenged fuel cells. And when dawn returned and rescue ships descended, he disappeared into the smoke and dust as if ashamed to be seen. Lyra searched for him for 2 years. Secret searches. Quiet investigations. Nothing. Humans were many, and Aaron was not a rare name. She finally forced herself to stop. A queen could not chase ghosts. Now the cycle of peace was ending again. The Eilorian capital prepared for a gathering of ambassadors from the frontier alliances. Lyra stood on the balcony of her palace, cloak trailing behind her as the twin moons gleamed like cold silver above. Beneath her, the crystalline towers shimmered as ships drifted through the sky. Yet her thoughts were far from the ceremony. She sensed something shifting, a quiet ripple under the surface of fate. When dawn came, she descended into the grand hall to greet the delegation from the outer reach. And that was when she saw him. He stood at the rear of the group, not dressed as a warrior or diplomat, but as a simple escort. His hair was shorter than she remembered, his posture no longer that of a wanderer, but of someone who had seen war and decided never to let it shape his soul. Yet his eyes were the same calm storm she remembered. Lyra froze. Her breath caught in her chest for the first time in many years. Aaron bowed his head as if she were a stranger. Lyra spoke with perfect composure as she welcomed the ambassadors. Her voice did not waver. Her expression held its cool grace, and no one suspected the storm that churned beneath her calm surface. But when the ceremony ended, she stepped toward him. Aaron did not look up until she stood only a few steps away. She spoke softly. "Walk with me." He hesitated a moment, then followed her through the quiet garden paths. The towers dimmed behind them, replaced by glowing vines that lined the shaded walkways. The air hummed with gentle life. For a time, neither spoke. Then Lyra stopped beneath an arch of bending crystal trees. "You left without a word," she said. Aaron kept his gaze steady. "It was better that way." "For whom?" "For both of us." Her voice held a restrained edge. "You saved my life. You stayed beside me in the cold. You shared a night with me. Then you vanished. Do you think a queen forgets that? I did not expect you to forget. I hoped you would." She stepped closer. I could not. The air around them grew still. Light shimmered on the edges of the trees, reflecting across Aaron's expression. He looked older now, hardened but calm. Lyra folded her hands behind her back, a gesture of control she had learned from childhood. "Explain why you left, now." He exhaled. A long, slow breath. "I was not worthy to stand beside you," he said. "I was a drifter. A man with no past worth telling. A man with no future to offer. You decided that for me, she replied. He flinched. Not visibly. Not obviously. But she saw it. You were a queen, he said. You were destined for power and alliances. I was just a human traveler, with no home and no people. I thought leaving was the only way to protect both your duty and your reputation. Lyra's voice softened, but did not lose its strength. You protected my life. You protected my dignity. You protected my heart more than any official alliance ever could. And you thought disappearing was the honorable choice. Yes, he said quietly. You are a fool, she said. His lips lifted in the faintest hint of a smile. I have been called worse. She turned away, fighting the rush of emotion she refused to display. 5 years, Aaron. 5 years wondering. 5 years remembering your voice in the cold dawn. He took a step closer. I never forgot either. That night defined my life more than anything else. She looked back at him. His honesty was not dramatic or desperate. It was calm, human, and that made it more powerful than any oath. Why are you here now? She asked. Aaron hesitated. I was hired by the Outer Reach envoy. They needed someone to negotiate border conflicts with the frontier raiders. They needed someone who understands both human and alien territorial customs. And they needed someone who could move quietly. Lyra scanned his face. You are still hiding something. Yes, she waited. He lifted his gaze fully to hers. The raiders are not just attacking borders. They are being armed by someone inside your system. Someone high enough to hide their tracks. I am here because I have information you need. The chill that ran through her was not fear. It was recognition of the storm rising on the horizon. Walk with me farther, she said. They moved along the path until they reached a private alcove shielded from both sound and sight. There, beneath a canopy of luminous leaves, he told her everything. A network of factions. Smuggled weapons. Hidden training outposts. Quiet movements that pointed toward a coordinated uprising aimed directly at the Ilorian throne. Someone wanted Lyra removed. Someone powerful. When he finished, she stood silent for a long moment. The weight of what he had revealed settled in her mind like a blade pressed against her spine. You risked your life bringing this information here, she said. I know. You knew it might get you killed the moment you entered my palace. Yes, why? Aaron lowered his gaze. Because I could not let you die. The world around her seemed to narrow. The glowing trees dimmed. The quiet breeze faded. All that remained was him. You said you were unworthy, she whispered. I was. And now? I still believe it, he said. But it no longer matters. I will protect you however I can. Lyra stepped closer until the space between them was only a breath. She stared into the eyes of the man who had walked away from her 5 years ago. The man who had let his heart break in silence because he believed it was best for her. You were wrong, she said. You are worthy. More than any warrior who stands in my guard. More than any advisor in my court. He swallowed quietly. She reached up and placed her hand gently against his arm. When the ambush came 5 years ago, you shielded me with your life, she said. And when morning came, you shielded me again by leaving. But I no longer need protection from you. Aaron held her gaze with a stillness that revealed the depth of emotion he carried. What do you need? He asked. You, she said. For a moment, he remained completely motionless. Then his breath trembled slightly, the only sign that her words struck through the defenses he had carried for years. But the moment was broken by the distant echo of alarms. A faint tremor ran through the ground. Aaron turned sharply. They are here. Lyra activated the cum on her wrist. Report. A panicked voice answered, "Your Majesty, unknown forces breached the outer barrier. Hostile crafts advancing. We believe it is the Raider faction." Aaron's expression hardened. "This is the beginning." Lyra nodded sharply. "Then we stop it here." She led him through the palace corridors as alarms blared and guards rushed to defensive positions. Aaron moved beside her with disciplined precision, his steps silent, his focus sharp. When they reached the command balcony, the view outside was chaos. Dark ships streaked through the sky, firing bursts of crackling energy at the palace towers. The city's crystalline structures flared with defensive shields. Lyra gave rapid orders. Her commanders scrambled to mobilize. But the attackers were too coordinated, too prepared. This was no simple raid. Aaron stepped beside her. "The traitor inside your system is feeding them intel. They know your shield frequencies. They know your defensive points. You must change patterns now." Lyra relayed his instructions. Her forces adapted their shields and repositioned their flight patterns. For a moment, the attackers faltered. Then a blast shook the tower. Aaron grabbed her arm and pulled her aside just as a section of the balcony collapsed. They ran, through corridors of shattering crystal, through rushes of smoke illuminated by emergency lighting, through chaos that echoed the night they first met. Aaron fought with calm efficiency, disarming multiple raiders with silent precision. Lyra, though queen, was no stranger to combat. Together they carved a path through the attackers. When they reached the inner vault chamber, a tall figure cloaked in obsidian armor awaited them. The traitor, the architect of the rebellion. Lyra demanded a name. The figure's voice was sharp and cold. "Your rule ends today." The traitor charged. Aaron met the strike. The clash was fierce, but focused. "AR,"